With continual advancements in medical technologies over the decades that clearly possess major influences on disease treatment, but what about in the treatment of mental disorders? Here is a review of existing methods in the treatment of the ever-growing ADHD. In this video, we will discuss the disorder itself, compare the ADHD versus non-ADHD brain, then dive into a review on both neurofeedback and TMS to conclude with future directions. So, how often do you hear of a person with ADHD? According to the Burden of Disease study, 4.1% of children or those under the age of 14 develop the disorder. In fact, ADHD is the most common mental disorder in the younger population nationwide, constituting a momentous $20.42 billion economically and socially in 2019. Of these young individuals, more than 3/4 will continue to experience symptoms during adulthood, eventuating to affect 3 times more males than females. Now that this puts the disorder's severity and abundance into context, let's discuss what it actually is. Usually first diagnosed in childhood, the neurodevelopmental disorder alters a person's ability to exert age-appropriate composure. Characterized by persistent patterns of inattentive, impulsive, and hyperactive behavior, individuals possess little control over these conducts as they stem from underlying neurological variances. So, what makes the ADHD brain different from a normally functioning one? With the largest review on ADHD patient scans published in 2018, results structurally showcase smaller brain volume subcortically, constituting an overall smaller brain size. Interestingly, the amygdala and hippocampus found within the temporal lobe were also smaller. Functionally, alterations in blood flow are present in prefrontal areas responsible for behavior and learning, indicative of decreased brain activity. With dopamine and non-adrenaline being key neurotransmitters, in the ADHD brain there is a dysregulation and inefficiency of this system. So, as you can imagine, ADHD can cause significant functional disability, yet with evidence-based treatment, patients can embrace their interests and learn to manage their challenges. Have you ever wondered if you could train your brain? Well, it can be done through a method known as neurofeedback. It's biofeedback for the brain. An operant training pattern, individuals learn to modify the magnitude, frequency, and consistency of their brain's electrophysiology. Simply, neurofeedback aims to change behavior by changing the brain. Many of us have watched someone play video games and even attempted ourselves. When the game is over, have we really become stronger or better at concentrating? Well, neurofeedback would be that game that excels these characteristics. Instead of your fingers controlling characters, your brain does when it produces the right kind of activity. ADHD sufferers exhibit dysfunctional electroencephalograms whereby neurofeedback normalizes cortical profiles by decreasing low activity and increasing fast wave activity. Speaking of waves, this is what neurofeedback teaches you to control to achieve a desired state. By redressing EEG abnormalities, patients are expected to exhibit increased attention and normalized arousal, in turn improving behavior and cognition. With extensive research, mixed reviews regarding the treatment's effectiveness have emerged. Researchers in 2009 published a meta-analysis that analyzed the impact of neurofeedback on the disorder's symptoms. Large improvements in impulsivity and attention were reported, along with mild improvements in hyperactivity.